Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Great Awakening Generator. I'm your host, Rose McNair. And today, returning to the Great Awakening Generator is Chantelle French. Hello, Chantelle.
Hi, Rose. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. And how are you going?
Good, thank you.
It's good. So, you've been in a meditation this morning.
I have. It was pretty different. It was the Arcturian portal.
The Arcturian, Arcturian portal, yes.
Yeah, which was new for me. So I jump in at any chance to have experience with energy. So
Yes.
it was interesting. It was good.
Yeah. I've worked with the Arcturians before, as I was saying, and you will be forever transformed in a way you've never been transformed before when you work with the Arcturians. They're an amazing, amazing, group of people to work with. And so I want to say, now that you have done that meditation, welcome to this side.
Welcome to another beings or another civilization.
I know.
Yeah.
They are like, I wasn't aware of the Arcturians before I went to meditation in Farm Cove and then discovered that they're around. I mean, I would have seen Arcturus, the star, the Arcturus is a star system in the constellation of Bootes, Bootes. And I've seen it on the galactic map, but I didn't know I'd have any connection with them because they're very quiet beings, unlike the Pleiadians that are like, whoa, we are the forerunners. The Arcturians are very much gentle, loving in the background. The Pleiadians are very loving too, but they are like, they grab attention without meaning to. But the Arcturians are quite subtle. And when I went there, the lady that was doing the meditation or was hosting the meditation, she had all these pictures of the Arcturians on the walls around us. And I kept feeling this bumping energy, like I was being cosseted and for want of a better word, coddled, like just really comfortable, soft energy around me. And then if you looked at the pictures, you could see the eyes moving. Well, I could see the eyes moving. They are blue people. Yeah, they are blue people. So, very beautiful energy, very amazing, and really, really in love with us here on the planet. So what an amazing thing. So this was this meditation I heard about. I had my alarm set for this meditation that you just did this morning. And I'm saying this for the benefit of our audience. So it was going to be at 6 minutes past 5 a.m.
Yeah. The early one.
Yeah. And so I had my alarm set. It went off. I set it for 10 to 5 and turned off the alarm and went back to sleep. And then the next time I look at the time, it's like 6 o'clock and I've missed the whole meditation. But you had the benefit of it. And you said you felt some energy.
Yeah, I've definitely felt some energy coming through. So there was a lot of energy flying around the galactic and hit Earth. So definitely felt that coming through. So interesting. Yeah.
Very good. Very interesting.
Global meditation. There was 144,000 at least wanted to be joined in. So it was a global meditation. So it was really good to be part of that. Perspective.
Yeah, I think there would have been more than 144,000. So that's really good. And I also had that assurance that if I didn't make it to it beforehand, that somebody else was going to be there to do that, so there you go. You were there.
Yeah.
Right.
Like.
So Chantelle, for the benefit of anybody who's watching for the first time, I will say Chantelle is from bioenergetics. And if you go back and look at other videos I've done with Chantelle, we've done 2 already, because Chantelle will be coming in on a monthly basis for as long as we can do it, for as long as she's able to do it. She'll be coming in on a monthly basis to do some stuff with us. So if you want to know more about the in-depth stuff that she's done and more about it in a detailed way, then look at the previous videos. But Chantelle, in a few lines, tell those that have not listened to us before, what is bioenergetics?
Okay, so bioenergetics, what am I?
Yes.
So basically bioenergetics is a combination of biology and energetics. So we combine the energies of the body. So over the years, I've studied both natural health science, so the biology of the body, and then along came energetics. Now I'm studying the energetics of the body. So we combine those two together and we have bioenergetics. So basically what I'm doing is using multiple tools, from computerized stuff to apps to voice analysis through to divine intuition. Basically do body scans of your body and finding where the distortions are in your body. And then we use different tools to correct those distortions or retune the body, realign the body, and help clear things up in the fields, which we're going to talk about today as the 8 fields.
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah, that's basically what bioenergetics is. And the website, because I know Rose was going to ask me, the website is
You're on to me.
bioenergetics with an x.co.nz, because I'm actually from Auckland, New Zealand. So bioenergetix.co.nz, and you can find me on there, and all what I do, and lots more information in there that might just trigger some ideas.
Great. And I will put it in the description box as well. I'll put the link to the website in the description box. Right. So last time we talked about the 3 pillars. This time we're talking about 8 fields.
Yes.
Wow. What is that?
What is the 8 fields? Okay, so the 8 fields is basically philosophy that I go by or learn by, and it is the fields of the body. There's 8 of them, ranging from the physical field, the egoic field, the thought field, the emotional field, the communications field, and the salient field. So they're going into some spirit fields now. So salient field, the etheric, and the spirit field. A lot of people know about the thought field, the emotional field, or they talk about perception, and then of course our physical body, how it all ends up. So the 8 fields is a combination of all that actually ends up as our human experience. Okay, so and it goes right back all over the place. So the fields are absolutely massive, energetically wise. Obviously, the spirit has been around for a very, very long time. So it's got lots of information in there going through to our physical form, which is the body that we are using at the moment, and the short life period that we are in. So that's basically 8 fields, and what's so important about them is that they all sort of harmonize together, and if there's any distortions in one of the fields, it affects the other fields. So when I'm diving in and trying to body scan and analyze a body, I'll actually go into the fields and see what distortions are in there, and then can correct that distortion. That has like a flow and effect to the other fields. And then eventually, like anything in the physical field, is actually probably manifested earlier on, or there's a root cause in one of the other fields, which we've got to try and correct. And then that flow and effect corrects the physical field. So that's basically what the 8 fields are. So we'll go through and explain what each of the 8 fields are, so you've got a bigger concept of it. But is there any other questions so far, Rose? Is there?
So I just want to say at this point, for anybody who's watching for the first time, so what Chantelle does is healing, energy healing, using this method, assessing the 8 fields. And so just remember, when she's talking about distortions, she's talking about blocks in the body. Am I right?
Yes,
Right.
just stagnant, energy.
That can manifest in forms of ill health, pain, that kind of thing. And then Chantelle has the methods that she uses, or the tools that she uses, to clear that, to bring health and well-being back to the body. So today, when we're talking about the 8 fields, I'm almost thinking, and I could probably be totally out of whack here when I say this. We talk about emotional field, thought field. There is a thought field, right? Did we say right?
Yes.
Does it have anything to do with chakras? Like, do you think they kind of have a link to chakras in this?
Well, the body is the chakras are a vortex of energy. Okay?
Yes.
We've got several of them, and they all align down. Most of them, the chakras that everybody talks about, align down the body, and they go front and back of the body. That's the chakra set. But in fact, our body is full of vortexes all over the place, on our hands or everywhere. There's just hundreds of vortexes. So the 8 fields actually creates one massive vortex around the body. Okay, so yeah, so it incorporates everything. And that's
Okay.
what the 8 fields.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
That's quite global. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So
yeah.
I hope that makes sense to everybody. But yeah, so everyone talks about chakras, and that's probably the beginning theory field of energetics, as everyone knows what chakras and the colors. Each chakra has a color and stuff like that, and each frequency. So yeah, so the 8 fields definitely incorporates those, but as a whole. So it's a whole human experience.
Yes.
So that's and that's the 8 fields. And what we do with it is, obviously I can go in and do energy healing with it, but on top of that there's a qigong that we've created, or I haven't created, but I can teach it, which was created as well to strengthen and harmonize those 8 fields as well. And it's a really simple yoga flow sequence. So if anybody's interested in that, I can definitely teach you how to do that. It's very powerful, very simple. And we'll go a bit over the theory of that today. Just explaining what each field is, because it's really get down to the
I think so.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. So we'll start in the physical field, I think, because that's what everybody understands. And then we'll go down deeper into the spiritual fields. So the physical field, everybody knows it's our physical body, what we can touch and feel. And this is actually the end field of the whole 8 fields. It's field number 8. Okay, so there's 8 of them. It includes everything physical and everything that has already been manifested into the physical form. So it's a final field. It's dense, obviously, because we are dense. And it follows instructions from the previous 7 fields. Okay, so if there's anything happening in the other fields, the end result is in the physical field. So say maybe you've got arthritis as a good example of something physically going wrong. So arthritis happens in the extremities. Okay, so when it's in the extremities, it's telling me that, hey, there's inflammation in the body, and the body's telling you because you're pain and it's there, it's saying, hey, you need to look at something internal. So internally, that's when we look into the organs and other energetic systems in the body. But then you also look into the field. So what has caused that in the previous fields to actually come out into that physical form in the form of arthritis? So we want to find that root cause, basically. And once we find it, we can retune the body using different tools, whether it be energetic frequency medicines or sound, or just me tuning in and distorting it, because I can do that. So that's a physical field. It's a massive field, and yeah, that's basically, and it's exposing the truth of the soul. So one of the passcodes, or one of the phrases that we use for the physical field is my dense expression. So you don't really think about these words, my dense expression. So that's us, malleable with great love. So that's basically the soul talking to itself, and it's telling the truth of the soul. So if something's going wrong, it's saying, because the soul is the first field, so it's telling us something's going wrong in those other fields, and it's coming out in the physical field. And another way of looking at it, if I can move my consciousness into the fields, into my body, what does it feel like? So if you can do that, if you can sink into the body, you can feel the energy, the cells, that's the physical field. Okay, so we want to find those distortions in there. And then we go into the egoic field. Now, lots of people go, oh my God, what's the egoic field? This field is the perception of life. Okay, this is field number 7. It's huge. It's like massive. So all your perceptions over themselves, over this lifetime, your inner child, a lot of people talk about your inner child. Okay, it's extremely malleable. It's meant to be there as a life support, like help your body through flight and fright experiences. But over time, we've just become stressed all the time. So our egoic field is on high alert all the time. So it's not meant to be designed like that. So we need to work on that a lot. It composes of every memory in this current lifetime, and every response to those memories. So it holds memory. So if you have trauma, it's like you have an accident, it takes like a photo snapshot or video snapshot of that moment in time of that trauma. And if we don't deal with that energy of that trauma, then it can manifest, it stays in, it can manifest into the physical field. So that's when we go into trauma, we go into the egoic field, say, what's there, show me what's there, and deal with that. It's basically about the egoic field. And the words for the egoic field, just to remind us, is like all perception and memory. So all perception and memories over this lifetime, multiple lifetimes, forever, are in there coalescing in profound awareness. So there's so much wisdom in there. There's so much knowledge in there. Awaken the great creation. So that's just one of the sayings here. So if you really think about those words, it's like, wow, this field is massive. A moment you can change your perception is the moment that we can rewrite the chemistry of our body. So that's another, I think it's a Bruce Lipton quote, and it is so true. So yeah, lots of talk about perception these days and consciousness and the collective. This is all to do with the perception of life, or the egoic field. The next one is the thought field. Now, the thought field is massive. They're all massive. It's generated from our thoughts. It responds to invisible stimuli, so other thoughts and emotions. So if somebody comes up with a thought, it triggers a thought now. So it's quite reactive to other thoughts and emotions. And we can affect other people with our thoughts. So remember, it's all energy, and energy does not have a limit. It goes on forever. So if you have a good thought about somebody, they're going to feel it, eventually. It's like a little ripple effect. It connects in this current life and then all the other lives as well. It's like a resonance. So if you've got two tuning forks together, if you bang one, the other one will vibrate. So just be aware of our thoughts, how they do transmit around the world or the globe, or galaxy, or wherever you want to do it. So everything is vibrational and resonates with it. So it interacts with all the other fields as well. So that's what the thought field is all about. Haunted houses is another thought field. So that's another way of and because we're in the southern hemisphere, so close to the 1st of May, which is our Halloween in the south. Just putting it out there. So that's the thought field. So every thought, every action creates vibrations through this infinite field of consciousness. Be mindful of your thoughts and emotions, for the effects is far more potent than you realize. Okay, so just be mindful of that. It's one of those things. So a couple of words to really sink into and really dig into and get into is connected through thoughts and ideas. Mine and yours are inseparable. So potentials are infinite and waiting. So if somebody comes up with an idea, it might be a small one, remember that might trigger you to think of something other bigger. So that's how we come up with great inventions, let's say, is through the thought field. And because we're so human and competitive these days, we're actually losing our creativity because of that. So just be mindful of others, don't criticize others, just think about it, what they're pondering, because it might trigger a bigger thought and bigger evolution, let's say, or invention. So that's thought field. Any questions so far?
I have a question, but I'm going to leave it for after you've done all the fields.
Okay, cool. The emotional field. Oh, this is massive. Everybody has emotions, and we have been trained not to feel our emotions, which is terrible. The emotions are there for a reason. They're there to teach you something. It's also, again, responsive to stimuli, so any of our senses. It's a precision feedback system designed to inform the human being and the position of the like. So it's a medium between the invisible world and the visible world, and the informative, what will physically manifest. So be aware of your emotions. If they're coming up, let them come up, especially like anger, rage, let them come up and release, because they're going to create different form. They just want to transform into a higher frequency. So the lower the or the negative the emotion, the lower the frequency, and it's always trying to climb up to be something different. So just let it come out and react. So they're all frequencies. They also react to things because it's frequency. What else did I say about that? Not much about the thought. Yeah, emotion. So you got things like, you know, write down the lowest one is shame. Okay, one of the lowest. And that can really affect people, and it's really normally quite deeply hidden. When I'm dealing with emotions, a lot of them are stored like in the lower area of the body. We call it a sewage pond, really. So you can stuff them in boxes and put them down into there.
Yeah.
And we want to crack open some of those boxes sometimes and release some emotions. So I expect when I'm doing a healing for the emotions to let rip. So I expect people to cry or have aha moments, or yeah, so as they transform, they have a reaction to them, and that's great. And sometimes they're a catalyst as well. So anger is a really good catalyst. It's like, it's a really wants you to do some action. So
yeah,
that's what the emotional field is all about. So very powerful. So think of emotions as doorways, okay, and allow them to open, negative or positive. There's always something, there's always a message there. Allow them to come open. So I accept and allow all doorways. So let those doorways open, opening and flooding me with life. So they're going to try and teach you something, okay, trying to take you in a different direction, or yeah, let's evolve. So all feelings are valid and evolving. So definitely they evolve, okay, they want to evolve, they want to be heard. And when you do emotional alchemy, that's what I'm doing. I'm listening to the emotion, and I'm translating of what it wants to say. And when it said its bit, it will actually transform into another emotion, and then we sit there and listen to that one again, and then eventually we go from something that's like shame or overwhelmment to something that's like empowerment. So it's a really powerful way to transform energy and to create pathways for the energy to move through. So some people might come to me with a let's say a sore knee, and I'll go, well, what's causing that? And they'll go, oh, she's going to work on my knee. I said, no, we're going to go into the emotions. Okay, so what is the emotion that you can feel about that knee? It'd be probably frustration because you can't play any sport or anything like that. So it's like dive into that frustration, and let's see what it wants to be heard, and then we'll transform it, either doing emotional alchemy, or I actually also do codes. So I'll create a code out of that. Now that's another topic that we can go on another day, is how do I create codes. Codes are very powerful and a good way of doing an alchemy of taking that emotion to the next step. Okay, so that's the emotional field. Very, very powerful field and really great for healing. And the next one is the electrical field. So the electrical field is our communications field. Okay, it's it connects everything, everyone, and all experiences. So it's quite massive. It's got a feeling, if you feel into it, it feels quite staticky. That's how I feel it. Some people don't feel it like that, but that's how I feel it. It's quite static. And to me, the vision of it, for me, if I go in there, it feels like a big spider web, and you ping one side and vibrate across the rest of the electrical field. So when we try and find stuff in the electrical field, I'm looking for a thickness of energy or something that's not flowing. So that's a communication field. It's an infinite form of communication. So not only our speech, but also if we want to get into telepathic stuff, that's a form of communication. And that's where we want to being humanity, because being telepathic is when you can actually really send a lot of information in a short period of time, like a split second, boom, you've got all this information. Through speech, and what we do normal these days is actually quite slow. So a lot of people use the electrical field or communication field when they're channeling. It comes through, a lot of energy is coming through, a lot of information comes through really quickly. So that's the communication. It's basically our body is a antenna, and we're tuning to it. So we've got receptors and responders connecting to all the other fields as well. This field is easily compromised by physical stresses and emotional stresses, especially environmental stuff. You know, you've got the EMFs around, you've got the 5G and stuff. a lot of people are sensitive to that, highly sensitive to it. So we want to be more earthing quite often, because that helps with just that whole thing down. All time travel is done through the electrical field. So those guys that do astro traveling, this is the communication field that you're using. It's lots of information. Information is movement. It likes to go places. It's intelligent, okay, highly intelligent. It's the same, basically, how the organs communicate with each other as well, okay, not only but in the body, but also out. So how we communicate inside the body, how do we get things around, information from their heart to the organs, and stuff like that, but also outside the body, how we communicate with the outside world, outside of the galaxies. So how I communicate with, like, my blue beings, who are energy form, how I communicate with Deshekta, who's another energy form that I work with. So it's massive. It's a massive field, and really intelligent. And everything. Yeah, really cool field to work with. I really like the communication field. So it's basically easily receiving, effortless giving. So the more that you relax into things, the more the energy, the information will flow. And the key is to try and relax. Now, I'm a crazy multitasking freak, and I find it really hard to keep still and allow that to happen. So, but they keep going, just believe, and just easily receiving, effortless giving, and it starts to flow through. And what else are we going to say about this? So if you want to feel it, ask the question. If I was to feel this entire web of communication, and how to communicate with it, what would it feel like? Just sink in there and you'll be able to feel it. It's quite buzzy. Well, I find it buzzy. Some people might see colors, all sorts of things. So yeah. So it's honest flow, okay? So it'll tell you something. Yeah. Okay, so that's the electrical field. Going up to the salient field. Okay, so this is one of our first fields of this, what we call the spirit field. So the first top 5 that we've just been through are more to do with the physical body sort of thing. Well, not physical body, but a lot of people know about that and are quite comfortable talking about all those the communication, the emotions, the thoughts, the perception field, and the human body. So they're all quite comfortable talking about that. Now the next 3 are the spirit fields. So a lot of people are going, whoa, what's that? And not heard of them or whatever. So we're going to go through some of these. So nothing to be afraid of. It's actually really, really exciting. Okay, so the salient field is the memory within my timeline on this Earth experience. Okay, so that might be multiple life experiences. Okay, it houses all information from every life in this timeline. So every particular incarnation on Earth. Okay, so that could go on for centuries, millennia, if you keep coming back and be reincarnated.
Yes.
So salient field is in there. It's quite often you hear people talking about past lives. So this is what we call the salient field. It has offered lots of wisdom and guidance, because obviously each lifetime is a lesson and you've learned from that. So if you can tune into the salient field, you've got lots of information in there. Soul families are also in there, can be accessed through there. So lots of people talk about soul families or soul sisters or that. It houses every single memory of all those lives. So can you just imagine it? It's just wow. Yeah. Woo. So the quote that goes with this one is, diving gracefully into form, because obviously we incarnate, choosing wisely evolution. Okay, so each time we incarnate, we learn from our past experiences, loving all of me into one. So that's how it all works. And you got to remember, time doesn't exist. Time is merely a fragment of limited perception of reality. Okay, everything that's happened in the past or ever will happen in the future is technically happening simultaneously. So this is getting quite out there. When we tap into past lives, it can be happening in a parallel life. Okay, so there's some of this terminology is quite new and quite daunting for others. Like, another life. You mean this parallel? I'm like, yeah, that could be. You know, we'll just jump on that timeline for now and see what's going on. what else is there? Yeah, it's all about reality, really, jumping around.
Yeah.
Exists in the parallel worlds or alternative timelines. So is time real? That's the question. It's a big question.
Only if you believe it.
Yeah. 9 to 5 job. Yeah. No.
Yeah. Only if you believe it.
Yeah. So that's the salient field. So definitely when I go back and there's trauma in there, I'm like, oh yeah, okay. So I'll start asking questions. Okay, what if I say this? What memory is it sparking? Or is it a past life? Or yeah. So that's a great way to go back into it. The etheric field. Ooh, all lifetimes in the human experience. This field houses all information, every life experience for human soul and the human incarnation. So it's very large. Personal style. What else am I going to say about this field? It's not, the soul is not yet individualized into incarnation. It's vast, very vast. It's a medium, and it's massive. It's like past lives, but more. It's more about, it can go into spirit, animals. You can all human, all lives on the planet. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's not only human, it's other lives as well.
Other lives as well. Yeah, that was what I was going to ask, was what is the difference between the etheric field and the salient field?
Salient. So the salient field is the human experience.
Yes.
And the etheric is more the earth experience.
The vast experience, yeah. Everything. All incarnations, all types of incarnations.
Yeah, all types. So you could be a fairy, or you could be a rock person, or you could be a tiger, or you could have been a cat, you could have been a dog, you could have been
a dragon.
You could have been anything.
Yes.
So all different timelines, all different planet experiences. This one is very vast. And some people, that's quite a different concept to get around.
So when you say all different planets, do you mean all different experiences on Earth or different planets?
I thought it was Earth, but hang on, let me just double check.
No, I'm just saying it because I thought it was Earth too when you were saying it. And then I heard all different planets and I thought, okay.
Yeah,
all different experiences on the planet.
On the planet, yeah.
On the planet, yes. Okay, that's great. That's good. Good clarity.
Yeah. Where we come to? Yeah, the human experience.
Okay, yes. Yeah. Great.
Life experience, yeah. Had to double check on that, check my notes. It's all good.
Oh no, that's fine. It's a lot to remember.
That's so big. It's like, oh, I just dive under. Yeah. So all species, including animals in that. So
right.
Lifetime.
All experiences here on Earth, whatever the incarnation is.
You are connected to all human souls in this field as well. So,
oh wow.
Yeah. So harmonious, intentional. So it's actually, we're all connected. The consciousness towards your humanity starts to come into more distinctive form in this one. So so that's the etheric. Not quite often. We don't actually go, we go really deep into that only on special occasions. When people really believe in it, then we'll go into that.
So it's always about people's belief.
Oh yeah,
in terms of that.
If they don't want to go in there, then it's all about belief at the end of the day. If you don't believe that I can transmit energy to you, then it won't happen.
That's right. Yeah.
So so you just got to believe in it. And I'll tell you what, when we do some really good, what I call HIT treatments, because I just use whatever comes up. When we allow our bodies to be an antenna or a tuner, and you allow information to flow in and out, we can have an amazing experience. There's all sorts that come in and out, and past life comes up, or animals come in, or just all the helpers will come in. So we connect to everything when we do a massive healing, and people are open to it. It's really, really, really cool. Okay, the spirit field is the last one. So this is field number 1. Okay, so this is the ultimate. Has the creator and everything else. Okay, so this is a field which houses all existence. This field is a starting point of every life experience. So this is your spark. Okay, this is your little spark, and it doesn't die. So it's your soul. It's never gonna die. It's never gonna So unless you
Yeah.
really, really want it to, and I've heard a story, or I've been told a story, of only one soul that I know that actually did want to dissolve. And what happened with that soul is that source, or the creator, did take that on board, and they did dissolve that soul. So they basically just pulled it apart and let it.
Wow, I've never heard of that
No,
before.
yeah, and we were like, whoa, when that came up in a lesson of mine, we were like, whoa, and it was, yeah, a soul that was ready to go and didn't want to be here, and in any form, and it just basically got dissolved by source. So
Didn't
very
want to be a
rare,
part.
very, very,
Yeah,
very, very, very
very
rare.
rare, very. Didn't want to
Yeah,
be a part
yeah,
of anything
anything.
in any
Yeah, anything.
Wow.
So it just got
Wow.
dissolved, the energy, and absorbed by everything else. So very, very unheard of. And when I was told the story, I was like, wow, that's pretty, pretty
Yeah.
devastating, really, for a soul wanting to do that. So,
Wow.
yeah, yeah,
It's devastating, yes, but it's just always about respecting where the soul is, right? It's always
yeah,
about saying, okay, that's it.
yeah.
Wow, that's
Well,
so
normally
huge.
that's huge. Yeah, that's
It's
mad.
so
Like
huge.
normally we don't. Normally the soul just keeps going. Okay, I've learned from that past life or that life lesson. What's next? You know, and they
Yeah, let me add
evolve.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Do we want to come back as a human, or do we want to come back as another animal, or do we want to go up the levels and become angels or archangels? You know, just evolve energetically. So that's, yeah, the spirit field never really dies. It's the beginning and the end. It comprises of all beings, physical and non-physical. So this is where we talk about, you know, angels, archangels, all in there, or anything else, galactic beings. You know, some people say I'm an Arcturian, I'm a past life, or that's what this field's all about. So I've had past lives where I've been on other planets and other galaxies. I'm like, oh, really? Okay, cool. Bring it on. So what happened there? And yeah, I've had, been choked a lot. I've had a lot of things going around my neck. So I've been held in chokers and galactically. So you can imagine. So yeah, spirit doesn't really die. It just keeps going. It
Wow.
holds all information in every life, that's ever lived, human and otherwise. So it's massive, it's so wise. And every life that ever will be lived. So that's really taking it out there. So it's also the future.
Yeah.
There's infinite. Okay.
Yeah.
This field is often called God or spirit field. Okay, depending on your belief structure, you can call it whatever you want. Within this field, everything is connected. It is totality. Everything is inseparable from it. Okay, your soul individually and other souls on every timeline and every planetary experience, every experience period are all involved in this field. Understanding that you are never separated from oneness, because it's literally part of you. Okay, it's inside you. And one of the ending phrases that we do is together forever. So basically we're all into one, creator and creator, together forever. So that's the spirit field. So very, very powerful.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I am transformed, and I love it, because I've learned so much more today than I've ever known before.
Yeah.
And whilst I delve in these different fields of my life, of my body, and of my being, I'll say the different fields of my being. We all do. We delve in the different fields of our being without actually saying, "Oh, I've got 8 fields, and today I'm feeling more physical, or I'm feeling more spiritual, or whatever, or salient." I have to say that I think that more and more that we do this transformation process, more and more that we do the meditations, and we are seeking higher purpose and taking the journey to self and recognizing that, then all of these fields, we become more aware of them, right? We become more of them, aware of them, working for us, etc.
So part of the Qigong form that we do was created by angelic beings, Jashikta, who are quite high up in the order of angels, extremely high up, I would say, and a human, her name is Angel, just coincidentally, she channels Jashikta, and they came up with Form 8 Fields Qigong. So this is the really flow sequence, yoga sequence, and each of the forms is eight movements, of course, there's 8 fields. And basically that's to strengthen the chi and also take the amnesia off our knowledge. Because you can imagine when we're born here, there's a spell put on us that you've got amnesia, you can't remember what your past lives were or the wisdom that was. You could have been alive for a couple of hundred millennia, and there's so much wisdom in there. Yeah, so that's part of the Qigong field, is opening up that experience and getting that knowledge coming through so we can evolve.
Yeah, that's the that's the Qigong I want to do.
Yeah.
Because because like you were saying about yourself, I've also been to many parts. I've been on earth many times. My soul is quite old here on earth. It's an old soul for us. But I've also been in other parts of this galaxy and into other galaxies, as you would have been. What I know, and this is not anyone telling me, is I think there's a lot of, and when you said what you said about yourself, I think perhaps we've been warriors a lot, galactic warriors. And so, and even now we are still galactic warriors, because sometimes, so when we've been hearing, when we go to sleep, we go to other places and do work there. Now, I just had somebody send me a message today that said that she doesn't believe in that there, and that's fine, because everybody is in a different space, and but I've wondered about it often, and I just feel instinctively like a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about in terms of myself, my journey, is not where someone's told me. It's more like I know that instinctively because of the work I'm doing for myself. And people will come to that point. Even you would come to that point because you start to realize things about yourself, like I've started having, sorry, carry on.
You have that knowing, you have that gut feeling. Yeah. I've been here, done that. That's right. The whole COVID thing and the backstory behind that, nothing surprises me at all. I'm like, oh my God, I knew that. And people go, how did you know that? I said, I don't know, I just know. And that's that wisdom coming up. And
that's going, right. Yeah. I mean, you knew, and just by the by, you knew when we were suddenly told we were going to have to take a shot of something, you knew right away what your stance was going to be on it. Yeah. And I'm not saying that whether, I don't know, we don't have to say anything, and please don't say anything about what your stance was on it. Because that was not what our discussion's about, but I'm just using it as an example. And
you had that gut feeling.
You had a gut feeling, and you knew right away whether you were going in this direction, yes direction, no direction. And you knew that there was debate before we got mandated here. There was debate about it, and there was just conversations between friends, family, all of that there. And then suddenly we got mandated, and the question was, well, what happens now? And I think if anything, the mandate sort of helped us make clearer choices about what it is, which way we were going to go. But I know for me, I knew from the very beginning what I was going to do, and whether there was a mandate or not, I was still going to proceed with what I was going to do, because that was it. That was
that knowing, and I was like, I made the choice and stick to it to this day.
That was it. I am very grateful for the braveness, and I think what I had to learn through all of this time is that I'm always taken care of. The work that we are doing in terms of these fields, bringing it back to the fields, the work that we are doing, and we have done, the past lives that we've had, the galactic history we've got, all of that comes into play in this time and space. And oh, been here, done this before, that's okay. How are you going to navigate it? So we don't come, being here means we're not here with very little. We come with a lot. A lot of us come with a lot. Right.
A lot of us are very wise.
Very wise.
Extremely wise.
Yeah.
And I just got told today, you're here, Chantelle, because you need to teach people the wisdom or the stories, or you're a messenger. So Just
Yes.
do it. Your source's messenger. So walk the talk and explain to them, because we've got to evolve.
That's right.
We can't be stagnant. Energy is not stagnant. Energy is
Yeah.
moving constantly.
Yeah.
So what's
Yeah.
our next step in as being a
Yeah.
human?
Yeah. Yeah.
Look at the last couple of 100 years, where we've gone from and where we've come to, and
Yeah.
where can we go? So love pushing the boundaries. Yeah.
And
Feels.
you know, I was going to say this, or what's popped into my head, I was going to say earlier, in this last week, I've been having more, and it's interesting because I've done a meditation with the Arcturians 2 nights ago. Sorry, not last night, 2 nights ago, I did a meditation. I mentioned this one that I'd done with Diana Cooper in March, and I just redid it a couple of nights ago. And I woke up in the morning and I suddenly had recollection of what I did in Atlantis.
Wow.
And I have never thought. I have Lemurian connection, but I never.
Yes, yeah.
I didn't not think I had Atlantis connection, but I suddenly saw my part in Atlantis, and I suddenly saw how what I'm doing now connects with what happened in Atlantis.
Yeah.
And then I think all of you were in Atlantis. And I think I was doing exactly this for all of you, as in I was supposed to be a connector for all the work, a connector for all the work that was going on. I was supposed to do that, and now I'm doing it again in a different format. And this is not to say this is it. The knowledge and all of that information is ever evolving as we go along, and we find, like, like what you've just starting to see and feel, what you got told today, you didn't hear that before, but it's enough, right?
It's always new messages coming in, and hope, and to pass those on. So
I feel like some of us, and this is it, there's certain people here that are never going to go through some of the things other people are going through, and that's because it's not we've been there, done that, and our part to play here now is not to be that, but to be this. And to be this in the terms of supporting humanity, supporting the evolution of the planet, the transformation of people, all of that. And knowing your galactic heritage doesn't mean, and sharing the galactic heritage doesn't mean we are showing off. It's just saying we're coming into the knowledge and acceptance of who we are. Right. Because we need to, and we also need to own it. Basically,
we own it, and the memories coming back, and what we learned from that, and to pass that on, and to be support people. People just waking up, it is very scary. It's very overwhelming. Very exciting at the same time. But to be that support person, so that, hey, is this correct? Or I've had that experience too. Don't worry, but it's great. Just go with it.
And I'm feeling like people that are going to start their awakening, or I've just started the awakening this particular time post the summer solstice, right, this side of the summer solstice, and almost like from the time of the equinox in March, the people that start to wake up now, a lot of them are going to wake up to things more, their awakening is going to be more intense because it's happening quicker than, say, for example, your journey or my journey. Mine, I've been awake from the time I can remember as a child, but it took a long time to come to the realization that it's an awakening process for higher purpose. These people that wake up are going to suddenly realize, they might wake up one day and say, I saw a dragon flying in the sky. Like, okay.
Well, just see that.
Did you see the dragon?
You did, actually.
They're
just a different frequency. And if you tune into that frequency, or you've been awakened to that frequency, boom, that's there.
That's right.
Shows, anything.
Yes,
frequency.
Exactly. So I've heard recently, one of the teachers were talking about it. Can't remember who was talking about this. That said, so the elementals are here on the planet with us, and they've always been, but they chose to be in a dimension where we could not see them with the naked eye. That's why we've got stories. That's why we feel energy, but we don't necessarily see the fairies, and we don't see the pixies or the elves, right? However,
some people can.
Some people can. That's amazing. I met a lady when I was on a conference in 2020. I met a lady that actually had videos of these fairies flying through the garden because she herself is a fairy.
Yeah. You can tell. We can tell where we've come from by our bone structure.
That's right.
I've got a friend who looks like a pixie, and guess what she does? She does gardening with her whole van load full of fairies and you name it, elementals helping her every day.
Yes.
She's amazing. But she looks like a pixie. And it's
wonderful, right? Absolutely wonderful. You look at a person like there's a lady out here in Highland Park that she's written poems about the monarch butterflies.
Yeah.
She has got all these beautiful swan plants all around. And when you go to a house, because I used to go to pick up foliage because my caterpillars would have eaten all the foliage. So I go and get extra foliage from her for them to have food. And you find all these monarch butterflies all over the place. And in a garden, she's got all these little gnomes and fairies, figurines and whatever. And she understands what they need to eat. If they don't have foliage, they can eat other things like pumpkin and all of that, right?
Yeah.
And you look at her, she even has a green car. And it's like, okay, all her makeup, she's got this absolutely translucent, beautiful skin and makeup, the colors and everything. Really beautiful. And when she plants her sweet peas, absolutely uniformed and different colors. How she gets this right, I don't know. But, you can tell that she's a fairy.
She's a fairy, yeah.
She's a fairy. And so the elementals are supposedly going to be making themselves visible now.
Yeah.
And I am so excited for that. I'm so excited.
And they're coming more and more into my healing. We call in people, and depending on who the hood is. But I have I don't know. I have I call them earthlings. They're like little men, they're about this high, brown with a hat. They look like little, I don't know, but they're there. That's what my mind sees. And they're there and they just want to help.
Yeah.
And they're little helpers, and they'll take all the negative energy and take it back down to Mother Earth. And I'm like, God, here you go. And they're so excited.
Yeah. The earth has got a lot of angels. The earth has got a lot of it's really good to know that they're helping this time when we need so much grounding and all of that, right?
Yeah, they're so much fun. So we have the nature, like trees, everything's got energy. And sometimes it wants to evolve. It might want to be eaten because it's like, what's the experience? What am I going to turn into? So it could be a pumpkin, let's say, and it's a pumpkin, okay. And the punkin's sick of being a pumpkin. It's like, please eat me so I can transform and see what the next experience is, So, just think outside the square.
You have to. Do you know, probably about a few weeks, maybe more than a few weeks ago, I did a meditation where I was just sitting and doing my breathing practice, and I was just asking for healing because I'd felt a lot of pain, as I've mentioned to you previously. And there was this fairy, but this fairy was not a tiny thing flying around me. A fairy was like maybe that high. It was just going through to all my joints. You could see the gold wings. I can still see the gold wings now. Just going through to all my joints and just bringing healing to me. And I was feeling, wow. I mean, wow, I've called in the elementals because we're talking about it, right? Yeah. And so I know we're not meant to be talking about elemental, but I'll just tell you a couple of things. So I don't know about you, but Merlin is back. Merlin's energy is back, right? I've felt Merlin's energy now for the last 18 months that Merlin is back. I have been in my previous lifetimes, I've been a dragon, but I also have a dragon. Yeah. And my dragon has come back. Now since
Merlin. Have a dragon. Wow.
You probably have a dragon too. You just don't remember.
Probably, I think I'm starting to get one coming. Sometimes I can sense it. So
yeah.
Dragons are amazing.
They're amazing. Yeah. I didn't realize this. Sorry, go on.
No, I was like, an amazing wisdom. They've got so much to offer.
That's right.
You need to respect them. So
absolutely.
If you want to call up a dragon, just be mindful that they like to be respected.
Yes, those stories you read about them, it's true. They do like, you ask them permission, and don't just go and try to steal the gold they're sitting on top of, because you need to say, oh, could you ask, can I have some of it?
Yeah.
This is probably what I should ask my dragon.
Connect with people who they want to. So they're the boss. They're like a cat in the house,
It's always their choice, right?
It's their choice who they pick and who they work with.
Yeah. So we've been in battles where we've actually been flying with dragons. The dragons have been like the, the air, the horses in the sky, so to speak of. And I'm reading a book now by Diana Cooper about unicorns. So the unicorns, I think, are around their back. We're going to start seeing them.
Yeah, we had one in our treatment the other day come in. So
wow.
I know, it was like, wow. Because I think I was seeing a horse. I was like, and then we did the cards, so we do oracle cards as well. So I pulled out the cards and the spirit animals, and a unicorn came out and said, that wasn't a horse, that was a unicorn.
That was a unicorn. Oh my gosh, thank you for confirmation.
Yeah, they're back.
I love it. I love it. I had to go through reading this book that Diana Cooper's written. I went through my tarot cards to see. So right away, it doesn't have a unicorn. I don't. No. Actually, I think it has one that looks like a unicorn because it's a white horse and it's not very clear. I'm trying to think which card that is. I can't remember now. I wrote it down the other day, but I just can't remember. But I have the Akashic Tarot doesn't have any, but I have the Healing Oracle cards.
Oh, yeah.
I did not know there were so many unicorns in that deck until I started to go and look for it.
Really?
And I was like, oh my gosh, these unicorns have been there. And it's interesting because one of the tarot readers at the beginning of April, I went back and listened to it, talked about Aries, because I'm Aries. Aries, the unicorn is looking after you. The unicorn is in your space. But I forgot all about that. And I had gone and started reading the book and whatever. And then I went back to listen to that reading. And the first card out on there for April was a card with a unicorn on it.
So you're starting to sense them.
I'm starting to sense them. And it's like, I just love it. I feel like if we are open to all these things, we can have such a fun time in the galaxy.
Yeah, so magical and such fun. Yeah,
such a lot of fun.
Help. They just want to help at the end of the day. Yeah, my little earthlings, they're so excited. And it's great if somebody else can see. I've got my pixie friend, she's a bit like me, can't quite see, but we can sense them. And she goes, oh, do you sense them like, because you can't actually physically see them, but it's like, are they little brown ones about this high? They're wearing a hat. And I'm like,
oh, wow.
Yeah. It's them. So confirmation that we're saying the same things. I was like,
wow.
Yeah, that was really cool. So yeah, we have some amazing times when we do some healing like that in group treatment.
Yeah, we do. I feel like teenagehood took the elementals away from us as humans, because I remember being so in tune with my dragon when I was about 12 years old. And then after that, it kind of like went away in my life. And we all go through that phase, having the human experience here in this time and space. And it's good though. It's really good that we're coming back to it. It's so amazing coming back to self.
Yeah, the whole mind control conditioning as we go through, you always get told, I always remember my kids, they were so magical when they were younger, they could see things. Absolutely. But they lost it as they go through school, or everybody goes, no, that's not real, and so they start believing it, it's not real. And so they get conditioned not to believing it. Because now I'm going, no, you got to be open to that, because it's so exciting, the world when it starts.
It's very exciting.
Alive. It's like,
wow. Yeah. I've decided to start reading fairy stories again, and it's hard to find time to read. I just sit down and read a book, right? Yeah. But I am making it. I've had my unicorn book now for about 5 weeks. I've had to renew it because I haven't finished it. Usually I can read a book like in you can read a book like in a week, right? But we don't have time like that anymore. But I want to read, and I want to bring that back into my space, because that magic of the elementals is very important. I'm very in love with toadstools, and I live in an area where you can see toadstools a lot in specific seasons, which is coming up now, right?
Yeah, now, yeah.
Yeah, and they're actually those ones that I've read with the white spots in them.
The red ones, the fairy, I call them the fairy mushrooms, and the red ones with white dots.
Yes.
The amanita, okay, and they are not poison. Well, they are if you don't treat them right, but basically what we've done with those, the group of us, is that we've got them and we've actually turned them into tinctures. They're actually really, really good for pain relief, clearing the mind. So we've created tinctures out of them. Tinctures, I can't quite say the name. And we've also infused it with some energy. So The mushrooms are amazing. All the mushrooms and fungi, they're our little communicators underneath the ground, the earth thing. So
Wow.
they're like
Yeah.
our electric field or communication field.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
this way of communicating through forests and
Yeah. Yeah.
so yeah, the fairy mushrooms and the red and white dot ones is the Amanita. So yeah, it's got a little connection with those. So if you want more
Yeah.
information on that, go to my website and
I must look that up because
yeah.
I have a connection with them too. I just feel, oh, I've been in one of those little mushroom houses and I've
Yeah.
had that idyllic life, you know, of being there in elemental land and fairies and pixies and enjoying
Flying
myself
around.
and
Yeah.
having fairy parties, you know, or light parties at night and
Yeah.
flying around the forest and enjoying ourselves.
Yeah. Flying. That's what I do. Levitate, fly. So
I always fly. I always fly. Even now in this time and space when I have to go and be mindful, very often I am flying and I fly to the mountaintops.
yeah.
I sometimes fly without that dragon.
Yeah.
It's been really, yeah, I'm more a flyer than a grounder, and I do need to be grounded anyway
Yeah.
at this
So one
point.
of
Yeah.
my spirit animals is a rock, which is RSE, which is a massive, massive giant eagle, like the ones that were like down the bottom of New Zealand years and years ago.
Yes.
Bigger than that. They used to be able to carry elephants around. So that's the
Wow.
story. So quite often I'm like you, I fly like an eagle or a hawk through
Yes.
valleys and I can
Yes.
see that way. And today I did my first I had a reading the other day, and not a reading, just some work done on me, and it was bringing back some of my souls. Sometimes it gets fragmented, so
Yes.
part of that
Yes.
back. And my helper or my self-helper was actually a fairy, and I was like, wasn't expecting that, and it was on a like going past, go back into past lives.
Yeah.
I was trapped on a boat, locked up like a slave on a boat, and so the question was, well, how are you going to get her out of there? So boom, instantly I had my fairy wings on and I was flying out of there with her.
Wow.
So that's how we do. Yeah, so anything can happen. So that was really cool. So we were talking about fairies. I was like, yeah, and yeah, so it was like a little Tinkerbell, but not like
Yeah.
a big version. It was like, wow, yeah, but yeah, different color. I'm a white lighter, so it was a white fairy. So
I
that
can
was
see you being a white lighter. Definitely,
Yeah.
I can see you being a white lighter.
White lighter. People say, "Oh my god, your energy's so white." I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm a golden lighter.
Yeah, you're gold. You're gold.
Yeah, I'm gold. Yeah, I think I'm gold. I never thought about that before until you just said that now. And I thought, okay, what are you, Rose? Gold lighter.
Yeah, gold. White lighter.
So this morning, I was praying to the sun because I do some mornings when I can see the sun, I pray to the sun.
Oh, lucky you, you've seen the sun.
I saw it. I saw the sun. And I've noticed the last few times that I've been praying to the sun in this last 2 weeks. That because every time that you look up at the sun or you pray to the sun, as you open your eyes, you see reflections of different things. You see planets around it, you see objects around the sun, right? But more and more, I'm seeing colors. And in the last few times, I'm seeing that beautiful turquoise blue coming through.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's what's coming through from the sun. What else is coming through? What else came through today was this golden orange.
Wow.
And I thought, wow, because suddenly, so the blue is in the middle of the sun and the golden orange. And I know, I mean, it's the sun and it should be golden. To see gold and orange around it is normal, but this was very different from what you would ordinarily see.
Yeah.
And so I thought, wow, it's really amazing the experiences we're having. And I'm so glad to be connecting that way, connecting that way with something of the galaxy, something, because behind the sun is the central sun and all of that comes through. And anyway, I think Metatron's is golden orange, I think. And so, Archangel Metatron's color is golden orange because of him coming from the central sun, his energy coming from the central sun. So perhaps that was Metatron's energy that I was seeing. But I feel like we're living in amazing times and having these amazing experiences. And I know that we've digressed and we've gone to something completely different, but I do love that we did, because I think that what we did was follow the lead of what was there.
Yeah, it's so exciting. I love talking about elementals because they're so.
Yeah, yeah. And perhaps this is what the platform was, because you've just had an experience today with your fairy.
Yeah,
And
with a fairy and yeah.
yeah,
I quite often use. I call them in. I definitely call them in when I'm doing healing because
yeah,
your elementals, my elementals, and
very helpful.
yeah, they're
helpful.
very helpful and they turn up and yeah,
Yeah.
they're very good.
So
Yeah.
Chantelle, I want to say this, and I'm conscious of time. We talked about these 8 fields. Before I want to say, I've heard this week the ley lines that are on the planet were set down by the dragons, just by the by.
Okay. Okay.
You know,
I'll
so
take that. Yeah.
good, right?
Yeah.
When it comes to these 8 energy, these fields, and you're doing your healing, do you find so basically when you do the healing, what happens is the 8 fields, you will be able to identify anything in any of those fields that are not, that may be affecting the physical and the emotional, because really at this point, that's paramount in our world, isn't it?
Yes.
What
So
we're experiencing.
So what I do work with the fields, what I do is I'll ask which field is of high priority, because that's what I ask. And basically, remember, I'm just a channel of energy and information. So whatever comes through is what comes through.
Yeah.
So I normally ask what's of high priority, and I'll go through 8. And sometimes it will be the thought field, let's say. Okay. So what inside the thought field is causing the issue? Is it an organ, or is it a what has, is it an emotion? And then I'll dive into that and to the energy, and sometimes I'll just collect the energy and then I'll start creating codes, or I'll go in deeper and go, okay, what's causing it? Work with the energy and or the emotion, and then let's just transform it out of there. So once we've done some work on it, either using multiple techniques, I'll ask which one I can use. So I've got about 5 different choices, I suppose, that I use. And it's all depending on the response of spirit, basically, what is to be used. And then I'll go back and see if it's fixed, and yeah, it's fixed. And then I'll move on to another field. So what happens is that if I corrected the field distortion and say the thought field, it has a ripple effect through the other fields out to all fields actually, and then the physical field is when we notice it. Okay, so it might not happen instantly. Sometimes it can do, but it may not happen instantly. But over time, that distortion will unwind itself, and then will correct things in the other fields. So that, say, the arthritis I was talking about earlier, that all of a sudden in a month's time, the client's hasn't got that sensational pain in their fingers. It's like, okay, because we've worked it out and the body's now recognized it's got movement there. So it's a flow-on effect. So
so we have the physical, we have the ego, and we have thoughts. So with thoughts is to do with the mind, and we always seem to think it's here in the brain, right? But we also have a thing where the cells in the body remember things.
Yes, definitely.
Oh, physical stuff, right? And so sometimes the thought field might not be responsible for what is going on with the physical ailment in the body, for example, right?
Oh yeah. So let's take thought field, say anxiety. Premier example around at the moment. Okay, so anxiety with, oh my God, I've been so anxious, my mind's all over the place. So I'll dive into that and go, well, for one, anxiety is related to the kidney. So I'll check the kidney's okay, and if not, then I'll move on. But that's a prime example how that can affect the physical field. Is a thought. Anxiety is from
So really, emotions are tied to physical organs in the body. That's what I'm hearing. And so we kind of, in doing that, we go to the source, not going to, because you can say to somebody, right, anxiety, let's take something to calm you down, take something, some calming medicine or whatever,
calming medicine,
right? But that doesn't mean the anxiety is gone. It just means that you curbed it for a while.
Yeah, it just means that you've just covered it. It's like taking paracetamol for pain. Okay, there's pain in the body for a reason. It's a body trying to communicate to you that there's something wrong. And if you try and mask that pain, it's not going to go away. It might get worse, but you just, because you're taking paracetamol, it just numbs it down. If you don't deal with it, if you don't transform it or listen to the body, and that could be in any of the fields, that pain's not going to go away. It
No.
might be something else.
Yeah.
Which is even worse. So listen to your body. Yeah, the body is an amazing machine. So please listen to it. If you've got pain somewhere, that's either something to do with your life. You might not be in the right, like a knee. Knees are prime examples about movement. You might be stagnant in life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're all about movement, moving forward. So you might be stuck in life somewhere. Well, what's making you stuck in life? Is it your job, or is it a relationship, or is it something else? Could that be affecting your knee?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it's thinking outside the square. Yeah. There's a reason for things.
Yeah, I feel like this is going to be a thing that is going to become more and more evident to people. A lot of people are speaking this that we're speaking about. And hopefully all of those people that start to awaken to this stuff get to that information, to the realization of that sooner, because that means they will get the help they need sooner. And because this is why sometimes you can go to different doctors, for example, and this is not about putting anybody down, but if you don't get to the root of the cause, or the root cause, then you're not actually going to deal with it. You can't be put on medication for the rest of people are put on medication for the rest of their lives, all of that. And you don't need to take medication for the rest of our lives. This is nothing, it's just got to do with the fact that there are other things you can do to be well.
Yeah,
right.
there are other alternatives that you can try.
That's right.
Definitely, and energy medicine is one of them. There's all sorts out there, and there's so many different forms of it. It's endless.
It is endless.
Endless forms of energy healing.
Yeah.
You can do all sorts with it. Investigate other things. If you've been on, stuff for ages, investigate why you're still on it. What's the side effects of what you're on? Is it causing something else? Just be mindful of that. And if you want to get off it, get some help. I'd say is to come off slowly. I like working with people who have got issues and who are monitored regularly by the medical system. And I'll work with that and say, hey, stay on it, and we'll slowly take you off. We'll give you the energy you provide first, because your body needs the energy to deal and heal itself. And then we'll give it the information it needs. And then slowly we can get you off whatever you're on. See if it works. And you get monitored at the same time. So you believe that it's working, and we can see that it's working as well. So it's just having that feedback. Some people just need that feedback. And I'm willing to help with anybody like that. So just be mindful. Tell your practitioner what and that could be medical practitioner, what you're up to, and open to working with practitioners, medical practitioners. It's all good.
Great.
And that's where we need to go, because the pharmaceutical world has only been around for, let's say, the last 150 years, and that's
right.
Energy medicine has been around for thousands of years, literally forever. So
more than 5,000
years. More than. And then when you've got Rose, you can go around the world and galaxies and talk with dragons and stuff. How much wisdom is there? So
exactly
let the wisdom come forward and help. I
find that this kind of thing helps you find out more about yourself. Because for me, my journey started with Ayurvedic medicine. My journey out of just relying on pharmaceutical medicine. And I just found that the more I started to look at the alternative, then I started to look at things like yoga, which I had not done before then. And then
powerful.
That's right.
Correctly.
And then yoga, and then mindfulness, and then breathing. And we discovered that actually I was holding my breath a lot. I was breathing from, I was doing very shallow breathing. And not breathing properly, like babies do. And, that instinctive natural breath. And so I had to rethink about breathing and how that affects me. And if I'm retrain it, right? And so found that because of all of that, then I started to realize that meditation helps me. It works for me because it helps me feel better if I'm feeling a certain way, or, feeling agitated or anxious. If I did this meditation, I started to feel better within myself. And so, that's how it worked. I got on the journey, and so then I started to find out more about me, but the galactic me, or the past life me, or
the exciting part of me. Yeah. So going back to breathing, because it's come to mind, is that you remember energy is movement, and when you breathe, okay, so you're breathing, your lungs are expanding. Well, that creates movement in the muscles, movement in the spine, movement in the organs. So each time you create movement, it creates energy. Okay, so breathing is really important, and I'm like you, really shallow breather. So you got to remember, so each time you're breathing, you want that energy moving. So do the deep breathing, going right down to the bottom, change your different breathing styles, try different stuff, try holding your breath, all sorts, because it gets that movement going, and the energy going, and the chi moving, and the life force moving, and you'll be amazed what it can do.
Exactly. Wim Hof.
And keep breathing. Knock yourself out with mindfulness or meditation. Best thing out. Oh my God, you go on a wild trip by yourself.
Yes. So conscious of time. What do we have next? Are you going to do the healing with?
Yeah, so we'll do some healing. So I'm just thinking what we will do. So I really want to bring in, because we're doing 8 fields, I would like to bring in Jashikta's song. Okay. So Jashikta is the entity or the angel energy that is one of my teachers, one of many teachers, and they developed the 8 fields Qigong, and they taught me the 8 fields philosophy. Very, very, very knowledgeable, and they've taught me how to do healing with their song.
Okay.
So they've got a song and a chant.
Oh wow.
So, so let's just do alignment, because we talked about chakras right at the beginning. So we can do alignment.
Okay. So I'll ask you to give me 1 minute, or just a quarter of a minute. Now I'm just going to put my video off. I want to just turn on a light chair, and I'll come back to sit down. All right. That's okay. Okay, well, hopefully that works better. It just felt like it was getting very dark in here.
Yeah, it's getting dark. We're going.
It is getting dark. That's right. That's right.
The light's changing in here as well.
Yeah. Okay.
So what we're going to do is just everybody just going to center myself really, and then call in all our friends. Allow me to be a conduit of energy for everybody here and who's watching later, and for Rose at the moment. So just sinking down, conscious, and asking for connection to everybody who's watching. Now, you'll have to excuse me because I'm not a very good singer, and this song is extremely hard to remember and sing to. So it's of an ancient tongue, and I don't know where this tongue's come from. So language is another name for tongue. So here goes. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to align the chakras. So imagine the light coming through down your center column, and we'll go through the different chakras. Because I'm singing at the same time, I won't be able to tell you where we are. So just imagine lining, bring the source energy down. And then when we get to the bottom, bringing Mother Earth's energy up through the chakras back up. Okay, and I'll do it with my hands as well so you can see where I'm up to. Okay, so here goes. Say no. Say say And that is aligning the chakras with Jashika's song.
Well, it was really beautiful, that song.
Yeah.
And it's a shame we couldn't hear all of it because I think
too high pitch. Oh,
it's because I look to our audience. I want to say, sorry about that, but it's probably because of Zoom. And when it started and it was coming through like that, I thought, oh, we probably should have got you to change it to original sound for musicians on your side. If it's off,
side.
yeah, on your side.
If you want to. But...
We can do it again. We can do it again in another one. I have a proposition for you after this, so that's why I think after we'll talk after we've done the recording, and I think if you say yes, we might do it sooner. But want to say though, it did come through, and I just felt I really felt my chakras aligning. Like straightening. Do you know they've been through a lot of shaking and rocking since the solar eclipse?
Solar eclipse was like a week or two ago. It was the energy has been intense.
Very intense.
It's been intense. And lots of emotions are coming out, guys. So if you're feeling really emotional, you're not alone.
Yeah, because it's really digging deep, going right down to the core. Things you thought you dealt with, still coming back to deal with.
Yeah.
But this just kind of aligned my chakras again. My chakra column is actually feeling a lot more balanced after that. Sounded like a Lemurian chant I'd heard before.
Oh, okay.
Yes, just so you know, what I could hear of it sounded like that.
Oh, wow.
And so that's interesting, isn't it?
It is, yeah, because I've never really heard of Lemurian, so
chanting,
I know of them.
But I've heard this, and I was just thinking about it the other day that I haven't listened to that Lemurian chant. It's on YouTube. I might share it with you. After this, I'll send it off to you, and you listen to it and see if you could hear the Lemurian chant. Okay, doggies getting a little bit. So I won't be long. I'll be there now.
He's ready for mum.
Yeah, he's ready for mum. So Chantelle, I want to say thank you so much today. I know it's longer time than we planned. It went a different way, but it went the way it should have gone.
Yeah, I love talking to you, and we always talk about all sorts of.
We do talk about all sorts of things, and it's really nice to be talking to somebody who's of the same mind of things, you know, same page. It confirms more the Atlantean connection. So, you know, that was really good. So please remind our audience again where to get in touch with you.
Yes. Okay. How to get in touch with me? So I'm Chantelle. I'm from Bioenergetics. So, and the website is www.bioenergetix, because I'm awesome.co.nz, and that's at the bottom of the earth. So remember to put .co.nz. And yeah, big thank you to Rose for having me on. We always have so much fun. I love coming on because you never know what happens with us.
Really good. Really good. And thank you for coming on, and thank you for your generosity, because you do give a lot to us. Your time, your gift, you share it, your skills, your whatever you are doing to support the planet at the moment, you share so much of that, and I really appreciate that. Yeah. So I really appreciate that, and thank you so much for that. Yeah. So
awaken the world.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's what we came to do. Well, everyone, thank you so much for joining us as well. We appreciate you joining us, because, you know, this all of us co-creating together makes all of this successful. Make sure that Chantelle fulfills her purpose, I fulfill my purpose, you fulfill your purpose. And I hope that what we've done today, that you really, really enjoyed it, that it has given something more to you and transformed your knowledge, because that at the end of the day is the purpose, transformation. Yes,
it's the key. It's the sharing the wisdom,
absolutely,
and learning from each other. Very, very important. I've learned lots from Rose today. So,
me too. I've learned so much from you today. So thank you so much. Yes. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining us, and we'll catch you next time here on the Great Awakening Generator. I'm your host, Rose, and that was our guest today, Chantelle.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.